I used to do this all the time. To the point, truly, I didn't know that there was a different way to be. I just thought that this is how life was going to be for me for the rest of my life. If you find yourself missing out on opportunities or experiences because you are replaying conversations over and over and over, you don't want to miss today's episode. Today, I am giving you 4 reasons to stop ruminating over everything you said. Hey lady, welcome to the Highly Sensitive Woman podcast. Do you struggle with self-doubt, setting boundaries, or feeling overwhelmed? My name is Alyssa, and I'm a highly sensitive woman who spent years trying to fit in, ignoring my own needs, and living in constant fear of disappointing others. But I finally discovered the power of embracing who I am, and now I don't feel so broken. In this podcast, you'll learn to find your voice, set boundaries, and live with bold confidence and inner peace. Grab a cozy blanket. It's time to connect with someone just like you. I am so glad that you have joined me this week. For those of you who are mothers, I hope that you had a wonderful Mother's Day. If you are a dog mom like me, apparently in the United States, we now have a National Dog Mother's Day, I think is what it's called, on the Saturday before Mother's Day. So if that is you, I hope that you had a fun time celebrating that as well. A big thank you to all of you who have donated and participated in my buy one, get one free offer. If you missed that announcement, I am going on a mission trip to Guatemala in October in partnership with Filter of Hope to bring water filters to that community so that they have clean drinking water and cooking water. So if you can only imagine what that must be like for these families, I'm very excited to participate in this, and as a fundraising opportunity for me, and also a super incredible opportunity for you if you've ever wanted to try coaching. Any sessions purchased May 1st to June 30th of 2025 with a direct payment to the mission trip donation, you get a buy one, get one free coaching session, and those sessions just need to be used by September 30th, 2025. So thank you to those who have snagged up that offer, and if you want to snag a few more, that offer is available until June 30th. So today I want to talk about something that was just part of my life to the point that I didn't even know there was a different option. So maybe you can relate to this. Like you finally get the courage to do something. Maybe, go to lunch with some friends, or you join a group to go to a baseball game, or you just go for a walk in nature with a handful of people. Maybe you guys decide to try one of my favorite things and you go see a play together. Regardless, you decide that you're going to join a group of friends and you are part of the conversation and you say something and your perception is that it did not land well. Maybe someone laughed, or maybe someone said something that felt very dismissive, or maybe no one even acknowledged that you spoke and the conversation just continued on, and you are then in your head the rest of the time that you are with the group, and you are replaying over and over what you said, and you kind of miss everything that happened. Like there's the gathering before you said whatever it was, and then there's the gathering after, and you've spent, the rest of that time playing that over and over, and then you get home that night and you're playing that over and over and over again, and then maybe you're still replaying it the next day or the next week, or maybe even months have gone by and you continue to revisit whatever it was that you said. And you do this every time that you go to something. So there are all of these things that are just kind of on a constant loop. I used to do this all the time, to the point, truly, I didn't know that there was a different way to be. I just thought that this is how life was going to be for me for the rest of my life. And I had terrible, I mean absolutely terrible insomnia. I think it was like almost 2 years where I got very little sleep. It was awful. I would lie in bed and I was just replaying these conversations over and over and over again. I was physically shaking, like in the bed, shaking from the anxiety that I was experiencing of what the other person or people were thinking of me. I was sweating, like to the point that I might have to get up and change my clothes. And no, ladies, I know as women, there can be other contributing factors to why we might be sweating in the middle of the night. And yeah, I've had those too. But that was not what this was. I was much younger. And it was a physical manifestation of everything that was replaying in my head. And I would go through life seeing that there were other people in the world who seemed to be able to say whatever was on their mind, and it did not faze them at all. And I was so envious of their ability to simply move on, and also very clueless. Like I thought, oh, that's just how they're wired. That's how they were designed to go through life. And I was apparently created differently and wired differently. And, like there's some short circuits going on for me. And so I'm kind of broken. And so I just kind of stay stuck in this loop. And that was just my lot in life. And I am seeing this coming up over and over with my clients too, where they have something that they want to do. They want to get together with friends. They want to be active in their community, but they're kind of stuck in this rumination of things that have happened in the past, or they're ruminating about what could happen the next time that they go. And my goodness, did I do that too, right? I was constantly replaying and then also trying to forecast what might happen the next time. So today I want to talk about 4 reasons to stop ruminating over everything you said. And the first reason is ruminating takes a ton of energy. I mean, tons. Like think about the energy that I was missing or losing because I was not getting sleep. But it also takes energy, even if you are sleeping through the night. It is zapping a ton of energy. I've mentioned this before, that we have thousands and thousands of thoughts all day, every day. Whether we're ruminating or not, we have thousands of thoughts. But that rumination, it's replaying the same thing over and over and over again. And it's kind of like, when you expend a lot of energy on a stationary bike. You're not going anywhere. Stationary bike, that's probably a great cardiovascular workout, but not going anywhere and replaying the same thing over and over in your mind, that's not great for having the energy for the things that you want to do, because that energy is going to the same thing when it could be going to other things. And as highly sensitive women, we need to be very mindful of where we're having these energy leaks. And so I just try to think about it as if you have, a pipe in your home that is leaking water. Rumination, it could be a slight little drip. Maybe it's a tiny trickle. But most of the time, rumination is like the pipe is leaking like running water. Like that's the amount of energy that you are losing day after day after day, year after year sometimes, when we stay stuck in this pattern of rumination. So number 1, ruminating takes a ton of energy. The second reason to stop ruminating is, as human beings, we are innately selfish creatures. And I don't say that to say that we're bad or that you are bad and that you're being selfish. It's not that. But we just, as a way to take care of ourselves, we spend more time thinking about ourselves than we think about anyone else. Even the most generous people. And I'm not saying that you're not generous. I'm sure that you are. Most highly sensitive women tend to be very generous people. But as human beings, we are innately selfish creatures. And so when we are ruminating, we are spending a lot of time worrying about what the other person is thinking about you. But what you're really doing is you are spending a lot of time thinking about you. And the reality is the other person or other people, they're spending all of their time or a lot of their time thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about you. And I say that to give you some peace that you're thinking about you. They are thinking about them. They're spending probably very little time thinking about you. And again, I know as highly sensitive women, we are often, because we're wired to be very kind, caring, compassionate people, we are thinking about other people a lot. And I don't want to dismiss or diminish that. But rumination is spending a lot of time thinking about you when the other person very likely isn't. They haven't given what you said another thought. And so I tell you this as a reason to stop ruminating and to kind of let it go, because just like you, they are thinking about themselves and being how we are innately wired and being innately a selfish creature. Number 3, a reason to stop ruminating is you are already living your worst fear. Again, I mentioned I'm seeing this over and over with my clients, and they have a fear of saying the wrong thing. They have a fear of what is the other person going to think of me? What is the other person going to say? And how are they, quote unquote, going to punish me? And by punish, I mean, are they going to say something to me? Are they going to stop being my friend? Are they going to stop inviting me to do things? And what's happening is you are already living that fear because you are punishing yourself way worse than anyone else is punishing you. You're stuck in these thoughts of, I can't believe I said that. She must think I'm weird. I'm so embarrassed. And when you are beating yourself up like that, of course you wouldn't want to try it again. You know, I've used this analogy before of when you're saying all of those things and you are beating yourself up mentally, it's kind of like you just went 10 rounds with Mike Tyson in his prime. Well, think about that the first time, right? Like the first time that someone steps into the ring with Mike Tyson in his prime, they're like, I mean, how bad could it really be? Yeah, I mean, I've seen him on television and I've heard the stories, but until I experience it for myself, I don't know how bad it could really be, right? And then the next time, maybe you're not so likely to step into the ring because you know what it feels like to go 10 rounds with Mike Tyson in his prime. And the same is true. You don't realize that it's happening, but this rumination and these thoughts about yourself that you are having during this rumination, and you are beating yourself up. Initially, you didn't even know you were doing it. But over time, doing it day after day, month after month, year after year, you start to learn, maybe not consciously, but subconsciously. See, there's my dog joining me in on the conversation again. Don't know if you heard her, but I did. So there we go, celebrating National Dog Mother's Day, I think is what it's called. Anyhow, I digress. Over time, as you have subconsciously learned that you are going to beat yourself up over and over and over again when you get home from whatever it is, or whatever you said, you're less likely to do it again because now you know what to expect. And it's not because the other person has said something to you. It's because you know what you're going to do to you and might not even be aware that this is happening, but you're less likely to put yourself out there to say something again. So then what happens is you start being a different version of yourself, and then that doesn't feel good either. And so you are already living your worst fear. Which leads me to the fourth reason to stop ruminating and that is ruminating robs you of the connection that you are craving. You create these stories in your mind that aren't true. It prevents you from putting yourself out there. Or if you do, you don't put the real you out there. And ultimately, what we all want as human beings is connection. We were made for connection and community. And it is really, really painful when we don't have it. And the reality when you're wanting to try something, whether it's just getting together with people for lunch, or maybe you want to start a new hobby, right? Like you want to start painting or try taking a dance class, or maybe you want to go skydiving, or you want to go to a sporting event. Whatever it is, most of the time, we either want to do it with someone, or maybe it is something that we want to do ourselves, but we get to enjoy connection through telling the story about that experience with other people and living it each time we tell the story. And so again, it all comes back to connection. And when we ruminate and we allow our brains to tell us these stories that are not true, and we create this facade and don't show up as ourselves, it is robbing us of the connection that we crave and that we were made and designed for. So the next time you get an invitation from friends to do something, or maybe you are the one organizing and extending the invitation, I hope that you will enjoy the moment, plug up that energy leak, and not ruminate over what you said and how it might have landed. Remember that you're spending a lot of time thinking about you and the other person is spending a lot of time thinking about themselves. Be kind to yourself afterwards, and don't let Mike Tyson show up in your brain, and allow yourself to show up as you are and connect with other people. I'll talk to you next week. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds and share it with a friend who may be feeling like she's broken too? I'd love it if you leave a quick review for the show on Apple Podcasts. It brings me so much joy to know this podcast is helping you. Now it's time for me to stop talking and go soothe my senses in nature. I'll meet you back here next week for another episode. Take care.